What's up guys, Marco here. Today we're going to be breaking down Travis Scott's 2000 Excursion. Hope you enjoyed the video. 2000 Excursion is the third track on Travis Scott's second collaborative label album, JACKBOYS 2. This track was produced by Cardo, Juliano Vegyn. And all of these three producers worked with the likes of Playboi Carti, especially on his latest album, Music, which is the reason as to why this song might sound, little similar to songs like Backrooms, Philly, or even K-pop. Okay, so today we're finally getting into JACKBOYS 2, and I'm really excited to share with you the whole process of how I made this song. Now, if you leave this song and another couple of them aside, this album was not it for me. It seemed more like a commercial album and a hype train rather than a genuine collaborative label album, but maybe that's just me. But if we're talking about this track specifically, which in my opinion encapsulates perfectly the vibe of the first JACKBOYS album, I want to say that I'm a big fan of it. Everything from the samples to Travis and Don Toliver and Shaq West's chemistry and all the way through the outro, it's pretty great. But for now, I feel like I've said enough. So yeah, let's jump right to the breakdown. So first of all, to find our BPM, we're going to drag our song onto the track, and then we're going to right consist arrow, then select detect tempo. And as you can see, our BPM was automatically changed to 140 beats per minute. Next off, we're going to get our sample in place. So by searching on whosample.com, we're going to find out that 2000 Excursion samples 3 different songs. The first one, which is also the main melody, Adagio Veneziano by Massimo Ranieri. The second one, which represents the drums, It's Your Thing by Cold Grits, which was also sampled in Kanye West's Power. And the third one, Mary Jane, the live version by Rick James, which was also sampled in Kanye West's Runaway. So the latter two samples clearly represent Kanye's continuous influence over Travis, as he was probably the one who opted for them. And yeah, by the way, the videos for both Power and Runaway, alongside a lot more My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy songs, are coming pretty soon, so stay tuned, I guess. Okay, back to FL Studio. So first of all, we're going to start with the first sample, Adagio Veneziano, and the first fragment that we're going to need is going to be at the 13-second mark. Now for this sample, we're just going to add the Paramet Kikutsu, cutting off the low end to make space for the drums and the bass later on, and some reverb. Next off, we have the drums, which were actually extracted from Power itself, but just for the sake of it, let's actually go through the process altogether. So here we have the actual drum sample fragment that we're going to need, and I've highlighted the sections that we're going to use, and we're going to be arranging it so that it becomes, kind of a seamless loop by removing this section and playing this once again. And in the end, it should look something like this. Following up, we're going to record everything into Edison, and then we're going to stage it till it becomes 2 bars long so that it matches the tempo of the original song. Now moving on, if we listen to the original loop, you can clearly hear that the first 2 kicks are way more saturated and powerful than the ones in the original drum. So I have this pretty powerful BWB30 kick coming to kind of recreate that same sound. Now still, the drums sound way too clean and weak compared to the ones in the song, so in the mixer I've had this tape Melofy where I've accentuated a lot on the drive and wear knobs to actually make the drums punch and make them more saturated, and the Paramet Kikutsu balancing some of the frequencies and to add some more punchiness again. And following up, layering the drums, we're going to add, a pretty basic bass sound, more specifically a saw wave table bass with some boosted low end for more punchiness and a pretty big high end cutoff. And moving on to finalize the section of the song, we're going to be adding the Rick James sample, which was again actually extracted from Runaway itself, but we're going to redo it ourselves. So first of all, we're going to isolate this section right here at 6 minutes 28 seconds. Look at you! After which we're going to pitch it down by 2.5 semitones, or approximately 250 cents. And after this we're going to use the Fruity Paramet Kikutsu to cut off the low end and a bit of the high end, and we're going to add some minimal reverb. And with this we have the pre-chorus ready, so take a listen. Now moving on, we're going to continue with the main song. So first of all, we're going to bring back the first sample, and this time we're going to go to the 1 minute and 8 second mark, and we're going to chop out this fragment right here. Now afterwards we're going to stretch it till it's 2 bars long to match the original song. And to finish this section we're just going to pitch it up by 2 semitones. Okay, so it is, we have the melody for the song ready. So let's move on to the drums. First of all, we're going to start with identical cardiac 2 hi-hat. To make sure it's identical, we're going to take a look at the high frequencies of the original song and now at our hi-hat.
But 2000 excursion, 44 per. But 2000 excursion, 44.
Following up, we have what I'm pretty sure there are the 3 identical snare stems. Moving on, we're going to add the basic triangle open hat. And later on we're going to add the second open hat. Next off, to create some more bounce and to create some variation, we're going to add some more percussion elements. And to finalize the drums, we're going to add the 808, and more specifically we have this Cardo 808. And you also have a second pattern later on. And with this we have the main song ready, so let's move on to the outro. Now normally most synth outros like this one are not that hard to remake actually, since most of them are played by themselves and they get gradually more stacked as it goes on, but in this case the outro was really hid behind vocals and adlibs, so it was more of like a background thing to give sustain to the artist, so it was a bit more complicated to pick up on all of these synths and notes, but let me take you to the whole process and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So first of all we have the main synth, which is just a basic Z-So wavetable, and we're going to head over to the filter tab and we're going to select the MG-Low 12 option, and we're going to really turn up the cutoff to around 8000 Hz or something like that to make it sound, a bit more synthetic and clearer. After which we're going to head over to the effects tab and we're going to add some light reverb, light chorus and hyperdimension to widen the synth a bit. And now in the piano roll we have these 4 main chords playing all over again in different formulas and lengths. Following up, we're going to be adding something known as a counter synth, which is named this way because it's playing against the main one to create some nice contrast, and this synth is actually pretty similar to the first one. Except the fact that we're going to extend more on the drive knob to make it more distorted, and in the effects tab we're also going to be adding this distortion filter using the downsample mode, and we're going to set the drive at 30% and the mix at 70%. And what this effect basically does is it some sort of creates a beat crushing effect, which makes the synth sound more synthetic and glitchy to say, but I think it's easier to show than to explain. Moving on, towards the end of the outro, we're going to add a third synth, and this time we're going to be using the same synth as the second one, but this time we're going to greatly turn up the release knob to make the synth kind of fade out with each new chord. Okay, moving on, we're going to be adding a pretty deep and wide base to create some nice contrast between the higher seams, and for this base I've used the basic saw wavetable using a really steep MG-12 filter to make it really deep and not have any higher unneeded frequencies, and in the effects tab I've added some minimal reverb, some chorus and some hyperdimension. And last but not least, we're going to be adding a final lead, a choir-like lead actually, kind of complementing the bass. So here I've made this lead using the same Z-shape wavetable with this MG-12 filter, and I've also turned on mono and legato to make the synth slide from one note to another, rather than just basically jumping from note to note. And in the effects tab, again I've added some reverb, chorus and hyperdimension. And with this the outro is ready. So everything all together. Okay, so it is, the breakdown is ready. So here's the final result.